Welcome back, guys. Or if you're new here, this is Automotive Anonymous, and that's the 2024 Subaru Outback. But more specifically, it's a Touring in the paint color Crystal White Pearl, and it even has the Napa brown leather seats. And there's a lot that I want to show you today regarding an Outback if you're potentially considering buying one. I actually own an Outback Wilderness myself. I've driven a lot of these, and there's a lot that I have to show you and to share with you, so pay close attention to the screen so that you don't miss anything. But you can expect to see a walk around, all the specs, initial driving impressions, 0 to 60 on GPS, and then my final thoughts to help you decide, what do you do with the 2024 Outback? Do you buy it? Do you leave it at the lot? Maybe look at the other crossover or wagon competition. And big thanks to Twin Falls Subaru for letting me borrow theirs for the day. I'll link this one below if you're interested. Otherwise, let's dive right in with this review. And if you like Subaru as a company, the Outback as a model, or my video, please consider liking my video. That small act of kindness really goes a long way in helping this video get shared. Thank you, guys. But if you guys are new to the Subaru Outback, you should know that this nameplate first came out back in 1995. It's based off of the Subaru Legacy sedan, which actually came out one generation earlier. So this is the 6th generation of the Outback, but it's actually currently the 7th generation of the Legacy. And these outsell the Legacy by quite a bit. These usually sell about 140 up to 180,000 units per year, depending on the year. Meanwhile, the Legacy sedan usually sells in the 20 to 40,000 unit range. And to make things even better, more appealing, there's 9 trim levels of the Outback. So you could start with a base model. That's about $29,000 before destination or any extra options. And then you can get all the way up to the Touring XT. But this is the regular Touring, so it's the 5th of the 9 trim levels, and it starts at about $40,000. But this one, as you can see, has a few extra goodies and options, putting it closer to $42,000 to $43,000 when it's all said and done. And for that, you really get a lot of stuff. This one does have the optional Napa brown leather seats. It has the Gen 4 eyesight system, which is the triple cameras. It has a front-facing camera, like the Wilderness. It even has ventilated seats and a few more things that I'm showing you on the screen. So there's a lot of options, and for about 42, 43 grand, this is a pretty luxurious wagon. For 2024, there really isn't a whole lot that's changed for the Outback as a whole. This has the refresh front end, but that came out back in 2023. The main change for 2024 is a few extra features and options and a slightly refreshed front end that's on the Wilderness trim level, but not on these other 8 trim levels. And honestly, guys, after having owned and driven as many Subarus as I have, there's no place that they feel more at home than just random adventures. Whether you're in a forest, you're in a high desert plain, or you're in some random canyon like I am. These feel no more at home than driving over various terrains and taking you where you want to go. Soft-roading trailheads to the grocery store. They're good at a lot of things. But on and off-road capability and making life easier is only one of the aspects, one of the categories of where the Outback really shines as kind of an off-road wagon. It's also a top safety pick plus. So it has a whole lot of safety features like all the eyesight cameras, blind spot monitoring, reverse automatic braking, front and rear cameras. A lot of those options might just be specific to certain trim levels, but a lot of them aren't. These are a top safety pick across every single trim level. So even the base Outback has these super bright LED headlights, which are some of the brightest I've driven. And any other safety features I've missed, of which there's probably at least half a dozen. Those will be posted on the screen right here. The Outback is about 16 feet long, 6 feet wide, and 5.5 feet tall, so it's pretty conveniently sized and easy to drive around town. It has a payload capacity of 900 pounds, so you can carry 900 pounds worth of people or stuff in your Outback. This non-turbo can tow up to 2,700 pounds. And overall, the vehicle, depending on how your Outback is spec'd, it may weigh up to about 3,900 pounds, depending on the engine and the configuration and the interior and options. But these have Subaru's mechanical, symmetrical all-wheel drive, which is amazing, especially in snow. Ask me how I know. I've gone through 3 winters in my own Outback Wilderness, and I've done a lot of driving videos of different Subarus on different sets of tires to show the difference between how they do. And spoiler alert, these Adva GTs, they do pretty good for bone stock tires from the factory, but it has 8.7 inches of ground clearance. It has a 370 final drive ratio, and it can do a full circle in about 38 feet. And while filming this video, we have some little friends hanging out down here. If you like Friends, like this video. If you don't like Friends, you don't like deer, still, you might as well like this video if you're still watching. The last things to mention out here is the gas door is on the passenger side, and when your Subaru is locked, the gas door is locked, so no one can siphon your gas. But when you unlock the the vehicle, the gas door opens up. This has an 18.5-gallon tank, and it's rated for about 26 city, about 32 on the highway, so your max road trip and range is just short of 600 miles. The wheels are Yokohama Ava GT all season, and it's a 225 60/18. And overall, I think it looks pretty decent. These do have about 10-30 seconds of tread depth, which is pretty decent for a factory tire. And then proximity key features. So you have lock, unlock, power liftgate, panic button, and then leave this thing in your pocket because you do have proximity key features. But if you want to pay for the My Subaru app, you can get remote start and a bunch of other features through the phone app. Otherwise, you can lock it and unlock it right here. And you'll notice that the mirrors fold in, but sometimes it's kind of slow to respond. The driver's side door panel is really nice, but seriously, check out how many different colors and materials are used in here. It's quite interesting. But they're all soft touch. You can fit about 8 fingers in that handle. You have memory seats, you have Harman Kardon speakers, you even have the button to fold in those Touring mirrors, which is pretty neat. And then a small snack holder with your bottle, medium-sized Subaru. You have rubberized mats and pedals, hood release, OBD2 port under there, fuse box, your options, your ventilation, your trip reset, your lighting stock. And then these are the thigh bolstered extension seats, Napa leather, 10-way power adjustment, and a legacy size moonroof up top. And then sitting inside here is pretty nice. It's very comfortable, very ergonomic to probably most people's human design and shape. It's a leather wrapped wheel, it's heated, the horn, not super high pitched and adequately loud, although I do think this vehicle is insulated fairly well. And then voice and volume controls on the left. You have adaptive cruise control settings on the right. You have your paddle shifters. And then when we fired right up with the push button start, the needles dance. The steering responsive headlights do their thing, and it comes to life. You can go through the info button right there. It has quite a few options. And then you have the driver mitigation system there, which when you set that, you can actually set up your driver position, and they'll recognize drivers, is what I've been told. Auto start stop, you still have to turn that thing off every time you get in the car if that bothers you. Ventilated seats, heated seats, and all the options through this screen. Electronic parking brake. You have aux, USB-C style and B style. Pretty decent size storage right here. Front facing camera, piano blacker on the shifter, but you can drop it down, slap it over, and play musical simulated gears if you want to with the CVT 8 speeds. Otherwise, you have some pretty good sized cup holders and then a 2-stage center console, which I like. This one does have the CD player and a 12-volt outlet. Otherwise, up top, we have all the adjustments for the digital display. It still has the compass feature, auto dimming mirrors, blind spot monitoring, the little Subaru light. And overall, it's pretty cool. Up here, you have LED lighting. You have the controls for the power moonroof, SOS, and then LED lighting. You can also take this off and it'll slide. Pretty neat. But let's turn off the vehicle. Let's hop in the back. The driver's side rear looks the same, all the same multiple types of materials. There's quite a variety. Bottle holder, snack pocket, speaker. There's a little bit of grip right here in case you have to get up to those roof rails, which I appreciate. And then these back seats recline, which is pretty cool. They're easy to drop, lift, and lower. This is the 40 split. But sitting in here behind myself, without them reclined, I still have that much room in front of my knees. Not quite as much as a Forester, but it's still very spacious back here. And that's where I had my comfortable driving position. Otherwise, ventilation, USB-C and B style, heated seats, and some cup holders in the back. But let's hop out of here and I'll show you the hatch. Back here, the white and black color scheme I think looks pretty good, and you can see some of those parking sensors in the bumper. But there's 4 ways to open it. You can push the button that's on the dashboard, simply climb through the back seats, use the button that's on the remote, which I'll do, or push the button that's underneath the Subaru emblem. But you also have a secret pin code button under there as well. I have a video on all the tips and tricks and secrets and how to set that if you're interested. Otherwise, let's see how fast it opens. Not too bad. Back here you have about 33 cubic feet of room. This one does have the HK speaker, so that's pretty cool, but you lose a tiny bit of storage like what you'd have on the other side minus the mesh pocket. So 33 cubic feet is what you get. But when you drop those seats with the handles, you get about 75, which is pretty nice. All-weather mats down here. You can see this one has the specific touring mats, with brown Napa leather around it, which do look really good. You have a few bag tie downs and clips and things like that. And then you have the spare tire underneath. Unfortunately, because this isn't a wilderness, it's not a full-size spare, but you can fit a full-size under here. And then you can lock and lower or just lower. Driver side rear, nothing new, nothing extra special, other than just all the nice materials you guys already saw. This is the 60 split, and you even have a map pocket and a pamphlet holder. So either occupant in the back seats on the sides can be a backseat driver. I've driven quite a few fancy Subaru Outbacks that have the chrome around them, but I've never seen that before, at least I don't think so, on the handles. And then this one, interestingly enough, also has a red stripe down the bottom. But this handle also has the proximity key features to lock and unlock when you open it up. Nice big door panel. All the same features minus the few extra controls that only the driver gets. And then power seats, although not as many options as the driver. But look how nice those are. Look at that bolstering. The backpack almost blends right in. And then the Outbacks have transmission tunnel storage above the glove box storage. And it's locking with the key and the remote. There's even a 12 volt hidden away right back there. But let's come around to the front. I'll pop the hood and I'll show you guys what the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter boxer engine looks like. Under the hood is the 2.5 liter boxer. Depending on your Subaru application, these usually make 182 peak horse at about 56 to 5800 RPM and about 176 to 178 foot-pound-feet of the twisty stuff in the mid 4000 RPM. But it's a good design, it's a nice layout. You have induction through the grille, through the air filter in the box, the baffling, the piping, the plumbing, the throttle body, the upper intake manifold runners, and then that whole thing, that big chunk of metal, that's your block. That's the boxer engine. You have your oil dipstick, your alternator, your serpentine belt, you have your top mount oil filter, and all of your reservoirs up top, which are easy to get to, easy to identify, and most jobs to do under here, most maintenance items, other than the spark plugs, are pretty darn easy. So with that said, let's drop the hood and we'll take it for a drive. All right, guys, my favorite part, I'm gonna time travel and teleport you guys to one of my favorite roads. We'll see how it drives, and then I'll meet back here for my final thoughts. Initial driving impressions of the Outback Touring is it's a really good vehicle. It feels very familiar to my Outback Wilderness, but there are some nicer materials in here, or at least being brand new rather than over 2 years old like mine. They feel nice, they feel fresh. Everything is soft touch, and the Napa brown and the accents are really nice. There's not a ton of seat bolstering, but it's going to keep you in place as long as you don't change direction and swerve and have to really move the Outback around. But overall, unless you're avoiding a deer, you shouldn't have to. You can feel the length of this vehicle with what I just did at about 16 feet long and a 9-foot wheelbase, but it feels planted and stable on the road. Having the ground clearance and the all-wheel drive capabilities that this one does, I feel like if I had to, for some reason, go off the paved roads and onto a farm field or a canal bank or anything else, I feel like I could, maneuver around. I'm not limited in where I can do a U-turn, even though it takes 18 feet to do, a U-turn. You have the option of going off-road in the Outback. Side mirrors do a good job. They're not huge, but they show you what you need. And the A, B, C pillars really aren't that big. The D pillar, of course, is because it's a crossover, it's a hatch, but that's what the side mirrors are for. The camera mirror does a good job. The Harman Kardon speakers do a good job. There should be a bump just up here, and I'll be quiet so you can hear how well it absorbs it. Not too bad, not very unsettling, and there's no carryover balancing the suspension. It's stiff enough to feel the road, but not over stiff to where it's not a very comfortable, very floaty feeling under most circumstances. The mitigation system can be kind of annoying, but it reminds you to keep your eyes on the road. I like that this one doesn't have the wireless charger. I personally removed that from mine because it wasn't working and basically broke. Having the storage down there, although it's not large, it is pretty nice. And overall, this is a really nice place to be. My backpack's happy, it's content. The heated wheel feels good. I know it adds a little bit of audio quality, detriment to have the air-conditioned seats on. But if you're paying for a Touring, I wanted to test those and show you and remind myself to remind you how they feel. They are kind of cold. I don't know how they'll hold up long term. I say that because Subaru heated seats, in my experience, haven't been the best. They're not as hot as Mazda seats. They're warm, but they're not hot. At least that's what my own Outback and Crosstrek experience has been. But overall, This is a fantastic vehicle. You should drive one. You should test drive one. If you're going to consider anything in this category of car, you need to check out the Outback. But what I want to check out on my private road is how fast is this thing. So let's teleport to that scene. 0 to 60 in the Touring. I'm going to brake rev the CVT. Density altitude's just under 3,000 feet. So we're down power about 10%. CVT's holding like it should. And true 0 to 60 came in at 9.45 seconds. Not bad given our elements, our altitude, and all of those things, but let's cut to my final thoughts. My final thoughts of the 2024 Subaru Outback Touring is honestly, I think it's a really good vehicle, and there's a reason why I daily drive a Subaru Outback. They offer so many things. They're practical, capable, they make life easy, they let you do what you want to do to enjoy your days and to not have to worry too much about vehicle planning. Just load the thing up, take it wherever you need to go, and have fun. But I always recommend that you test drive a variety of vehicles. Make sure that you're actually buying the right vehicle for you. You don't want to buy something and then later regret it. So test drive all the crossovers, all the wagons, all the competition that your heart might desire, because you never know which one will be best for you. But this is a really good option if you do choose it, and I have no reservations in recommending it. I think Subarus are pretty well proven. I think everyone knows that they're one of the safest vehicles on the road, and they have some of the best customer service with Subaru of America. But if you like this video, if you got anything out of it, please consider liking this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment your thoughts and opinions below, and I hope to see you on the next one. Take care.